This video is brought to you by my supporters on Patreon. Hey guys, I'm here with another video in my Magical Girl Diva series, and in this video I'm making her gloves. So she has one pink glove and one black glove, and in this clip I'm cutting out the fabric for her pink glove. To create the glove, I took these gloves that I had made for a different cosplay and just cut around them because that is what was easiest. They were the same length as the gloves that I needed and I knew these ones fit. Did the same exact thing for the black gloves.
We'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
To create this ruffle sheer top part of her armbands or her gloves, I created these really just long, wide rectangles in this sheer fabric, and here I'm folding over the top and bottom edges to make a nice clean hem so that it doesn't fray and come apart, and then sewing that. There is this red band that goes around this piece, so I didn't bother attaching this to the glove in any ways. Instead, I just slide this on my arm and then slide the red band that is actually made to fit snugly around my arm over this piece, and it holds it in place and ruffles it.
And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns.
And here's the clip of me sewing these pieces. Once I've sewed down the hems, I fold the right sides together and sew the edge shut so that it's now one big loop, I guess you could call it. My serger to sew these closed. That red armband that I mentioned earlier has these little wings stuck to it with a heart on it. The heart is going to be an acrylic gem I bought off eBay, but for the wings I had to make those myself, and I made those out of 2mm EVA foam. And then in this clip I'm dremeling all of the edges to make sure everything is nice and smooth before gluing it together with contact cement. Once these pieces are glued together, I prime them with about 3 layers of wood glue and then paint them with acrylic paint, and then seal that with a coat of clear glossy spray paint.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left.
Now I'm working on the gloves once again. Here I'm just using a zigzag stitch to sew up the sides of the gloves so that they are one whole piece. And then I fit them around my arm and make any adjustment that is needed. And then to make the inside seams nice and neat looking, I use my serger. Once the sides are sewn together, I fold over that top hem so that it looks nice and neat on the outside, and then sew that down using a zigzag stitch and try it on to make sure everything fits. Once I'm happy with that, I can go ahead and give the shape to the bottom, which is this kind of leaf-like design. This fabric didn't fray, so I didn't bother doing anything more than just cutting out this design and leaving it as is. So the band, the red band from earlier with the heart and wings on it, has these little bow-like pieces that hang from the bottom of it, and to create those I cut out these 4 rectangular-ish shapes and sewed those together, leaving the smallest end, which is going to be the top end, open so that I could flip them inside out. And I just glued those onto the back of the wings once I had glued the wings and the heart onto the red band. I'm using my serger to sew the sides of the black glove shut. Then I tried it on and made any adjustments that may have been needed. This one needed a lot of adjustments because this fabric was really stretchy, and the fabric of the gloves that I had traced it around was not as stretchy as this. So I ended up making this one a lot smaller so that it would fit snugly and not just slip down the entire time I was wearing it. The black glove has these 2 pink ribbons that wrap themselves around it, and to create this effect in a way that would hold its shape and not just flop down and just end up being 2 random ribbons hanging from the black glove, I added wire into the middle of them. So both the ribbons were made out of these 2 long strips of pink fabric that had these little tails cut at the end, and then had wire glued into it using hot glue. At first I used my fingers to press it down, but hot glue's hot and that's how you burn yourself. So I took a little square of wax paper to help me press it down and make sure the wire was fully coated later. But yeah, this wire helped me shape and bend these pieces in a way that mimicked the reference photo that I was going off of, and it actually held its shape pretty well. I was really happy with how this specific part turned out.
The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun.
Once the wire was glued in, I laid the other layer of the ribbon on top of that, and then started folding both edges of both sides inward and clipping that down into place so that I could sew along that line and it would have a nice clean edge. I didn't bother putting the right sides of the fabric together and then trying to flip it right side out later because I knew that would just be so impossible and it would mess up my wiring, where I was worried that the wire would get bent in ways that would be too difficult to unbend it later. Once I had one side sewn down, I did the same thing to the other side and then did it again with an entirely new ribbon. I don't have any video footage of how I created the red bands that I mentioned earlier that go along the upper part of your arm, but I used the same exact technique that I did to make the red bands in my boot covers video. But once those were made, I took the 2 ribbons that I was just working on, these 2 pink ones, and then sewed those into place using a zigzag stitch onto that red ribbon. After that, I just had to attach the wings and the little pink ribbon or bow tails that we made earlier onto this red band for both arm pieces. I used super glue to glue on the wings, and then I secured everything with hot glue. And that finishes up this video. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I'll have more videos coming soon, and I already have a ton out. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye!